Hello! Let's read my most anticipated releases. Hello fellow book nerds, this is Gabby and today is the beginning of a new vlog and I am so excited because in this vlog we are reading my most anticipated releases of 2021. I know, I have read many new releases this year, because I have this new series where I read a brand new, well, it's not new but I'm doing this series when I read a new release every month and review it for you. So naturally I read at least 12 and then I read some other ones for videos, or I was just excited. So I read probably maybe like I want to say 20 new releases anyway, but there were still a couple that I was so excited about. I never got to read it, so I thought, why not make our last vlog of this year something exciting like that? And we're going to be talking about all the exciting releases. Also, if you don't know, I also have this series where I tell you new releases coming out next following month, and I went to those videos, looked through all of them, saw what was coming out, and saw books that I still am so excited about, but just didn't pick it up at the time because it didn't win the poll for review or just wasn't the right time. So we're gonna be reading those. I am so excited. I have 3 books. We're gonna be reading Blackwater Sister, which was a May release. Then we're gonna read A City Beautiful, which is an October release, and In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, which was an August release. These are not chronological. Blackwater Sister is a urban fantasy, I believe, and I think Malaysian lesbian gets possessed by her godmother's spirit, I think. And then A City Beautiful, I think it's a high fantasy by a Jewish author. That's all I know. And then In My Dreams I Hold a Knife is a thriller, and I'm so excited. It's some kind of like school reunion and people are still dying, I think. Really bloody excited. I have started Blackwater Sister, but I am like 2% into it, so I will let you know when I read a bit more what I actually thought about it, but I'm so excited. Hello, so I am 25% into Blackwater Sister, so I thought time to come and have a chat with you. So, okay. How does someone make this sound? So basically in Blackwater Sister we follow Jessie, who's Malaysian, but she grew up in America. Both her parents are Malaysian, but they moved when she was little to get better opportunities. But unfortunately her dad had a little bit of trouble keeping a job because he got cancer. So they decided to move back to Malaysia so he can work for his brother's company. And Jessie's about, I think she's 19 years old, and she just graduated college, doesn't have a job, and kind of doesn't know what she wants to do with her life. So she moves back to Malaysia with her family, and she's also got a girlfriend, but her family doesn't know that she's a lesbian. So one day she just randomly hears this disembodied voice saying, does your family know you're a lesbian? And turns out it's the voice of her dead grandmother, who has come back from the dead because she has some unfinished business, and she ends up kind of possessing but kind of just like hanging out with Jessie. And so far it's very weird. We got into like, well, possession, but also like mediums, spirits, gods, and this grandma's I really like the dynamic because the grandma obviously like grew up in a very different time, in a very different place, and then we have the main character who's like quite modern, but she's got her own demons because she doesn't know what she wants to do with her life. She feels a bit like a failure, so because she's like a Harvard graduate but doesn't have a job, and she really feels like that's getting to her, and also the pressure from her family, and then her mother was estranged with the grandma. So there's a lot of like family balancing act, let's call it. It's a big part of the book and exploration of that, and kind of the fact that Jessie is a lesbian but she like hides the relationship from her family. Yeah, so far it's it's good. It's a nice writing style, kind of easy to read. It has a lot of like funny structures, but that's because of it's emulating like people speaking Malay as well as Hokkien. So it kind of emulates that and puts some like Manglish into it. And yeah, I've really enjoyed the setting as well. So I've been to Malaysia, but I'm in KL, but my boyfriend's family is from Malaysia. He's Indian Malaysian, so not same as Jessie, who's Chinese Malaysian, but it's still really cool to see because she lives in Penang, which is where my boyfriend's family is as well, and it's just really cool to like hear all of that and just something that I also saw when I was in KL, and like them talking about exchange rates and culture things. Like it's kind of reminiscent of what I've experienced being part of his family. So it's very cool to see. Really enjoyed that. I'm just really having a lot of fun reading a book set in Malaysia, not like America or London, because I feel like a lot of times, even if I'm reading from diaspora authors or Asian authors, East Asian authors, it just feels like usually it's set still in America because the author is a diaspora author, which is fair enough, or in like a completely fantastical world. So I'm having a lot of fun with it being set in Malaysia and exploring that, seeing that, and like the cultural implications. Yeah, just like the generational stuff. I'm really enjoying that. I am aware that in Malaysia the political situation and like the segregation and stuff like that is pretty bad. So I don't know if this book is gonna like touch upon that. But I guess maybe that's not what it was trying to do. Although it would be very interesting. So far enjoying it, and I'll update you when I read a bit more, but so far very good. I was really craving still, so after our violent ends, I was craving something set in East Asian country, so I'm having a good time with it being Malaysian. Yeah. Well, hello there. I've not actually finished the book, but I am about 57% into Blackwater Sister, and I must say, like, I'm not disliking it, but I thought it would be a bit of a different story. The way that the synopsis sounded to me was a little like the story was about the main character, Jess, and how she deals with being a lesbian and how that conflict between generations will be explored through her being possessed by her grandma. But it's really not about that. Like, it's not been brought up. Like, her grandma's not brought it up like more than once. And it's more about gangsters and like gods and like fighting and like that kind of thing. It's a bit not what I expected. I'm not disliking it. I'm not loving it as much as I thought I could, and I just wanted a little bit of a quieter coming out story in a sense, but like generational difference. And it's definitely touched upon, like there is like her grandma is very different than her, and like how she sees duty and what the daughter should be and how children should behave. And then also that contrast with her mother and all of that, like it's there. I'm thinking her being a lesbian will come up. It's like really gangstery and stuff, and I'm like, okay, like I'm still enjoying it. I'm reading about gangsters in Malaysia fighting for gods, but not what I expected, must say. Oh, but I also picked up the audiobook because I was like cleaning and stuff, and the audiobook's pretty good. But it pisses me off. They keep mispronouncing stuff, and I don't know if that's because, I don't know, maybe Chinese Malaysians say it differently. But like Penang, my boyfriend's family that is from Penang says Penang, but the author says Penang. Penang. Did you not get a Chinese Malaysian person to narrate this? Should I be over here fact-checking? No, I should be going on a walk, but here we are. It doesn't say, but she's American, so what can you expect? I'm joking. I'm joking! Calm down! Well, hello. I'm trying to make this interesting, but honestly, the only good lighting is like in my room. But anyway, I finished Blackwater Sister yesterday, and it was a good time, I must say. I feel like my big hiccup was that it wasn't what I wanted or expected. Not the book's fault, admittedly. It's just like, I feel like the way it was pitched, I thought it'd be about something else. So it took me a while to get over it, and I'm still not sure I'm over it. Like that, the story I read was not necessarily the story I was craving when I picked it up. And that being said, I do think that the book itself is good. And I think there's nothing wrong with it. It's well written, fast-paced, interesting. I like the story it was done. I didn't have a bad time reading it, but I was not like addicted to it or anything else, anything like that really. And I would recommend it if the premise from what I said sounded good, if the book was interesting from what I said that it was about. I would pick it up. It was good, but personally, I was slightly disappointed. I'm gonna give it 4 stars on Goodreads just because, like, nothing wrong with the book, but in my personal file, I give it 3.5. I'm sorry, those were shitty thoughts, but I don't really know what else to say. But I have started reading In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, like this morning. Like this morning, I woke up, I had a couple, like 30 minutes before I need to get up for work, so I've started it. I am already like 37% into it. Right? Yeah, 38% into it on page 127, and there's only about 2 hours left of reading, and I'm thinking I might finish this whole book today. I don't know what it is, but the writing is just so addicting. I need to tell you what it's about. So this one is a thriller, and we follow a woman who went to this super prestigious university, and when she was there, she made friends, and like the friends were known as East House 7 or something like that. Anyway, it doesn't matter, but there was like 7 of them. They're very good friends, mix of girls and boys. In their final year of university, one of them was murdered, and then the boyfriend was accused, but they never actually could find enough evidence to convict the boyfriend. And since then, he's been shunned from the group, and the whole group kind of fell apart. But now it's a 10-year reunion since they graduated, 10 years since the death of the friend. So they got invited to a reunion party, like a homecoming party back at the uni. So they go, and it's kind of now figuring out what really happened to Heather and Heather. It's very interesting because the book is not really like so far. Okay, the last couple chapters I read, that kind of contradicts it, but I like the first 35% wasn't really about like the murder itself. It was getting to know the friend group, getting to know the main character. And now we're kind of getting into the murder more. But I don't know, there's something very campy about it. The way it was written, it was just a very campy scene, but not in a bad way. Like, it's a bit cheesy and a bit over the top, but I kind of loved it. Yeah, the writing, the characters, all of it feels a little cartoonish, but like, I'm not mad about it. I'm actually quite enjoying it. It's just all really working for me. And it's so interesting because the first couple of chapters were super long, like 20 minutes each chapter reading time, I mean. And now they're going super short, like each chapter is like 4 or 5 minutes to read, and I just can't put it down. It's just so good. So I just keep like, quick, I need to know. And it's like all these relationships, I mean, all the drama I expect. It's like a group of friends getting back together. So of course, you know, everyone slept with everyone. Everyone's got secrets. The main character is like hella shifty. The main character just needs therapy anyway. Like, oh my goodness, help that child. Honestly, like, she's got such inferiority complex and just such unhealthy mindset that is just kind of like frustrating to read, but also so good and juicy. I don't know, I'm really enjoying it. I literally read, like, I don't know if the book's short or what, but like I read 38%, like it was nothing, literally just like in my break just before work. I have the evening to myself, so I think I'm just gonna finish it. It's so interesting because the cast of characters we actually know is so small, so I guess it has to be one of them. So far so good. And funnily enough, I actually also started the last book we're going to be reading, which is The City Beautiful by Aden Olydoros. So this book is set in 1893 in Chicago, and our main character is a Jewish immigrant. And I am not that much into it, only 10%. Still have like 11 hours of the audiobook left. So the main character, like I said, is a Jewish boy. He's working in Chicago. He wants to bring his family over from overseas. And he lives in this dorm room with other immigrant boys. And one of the boys just died in an accident, but there's also been like a bunch of boys missing. So I assume it's about the boys missing. I don't actually know what it's about. So he's from Romania, but it's funny because they talk things like kishka, which is a type of food, and they just use some words that are very similar to Polish, which I always find very entertaining. So I'm having a good time. But this boy said kishka is a not a nice food, and I got a bit annoyed because like, what are you talking about? What, it's delicious. Well, he said this lady's kishka is not good, so maybe he just thinks this specific one is not good. But I was a bit annoyed. I was a bit like, get out of here, yeah. But yeah, so far really cool. Like the main character as well, like he's come from Romania and he doesn't really speak that much English, so that's an interesting perspective, and just like the perspective of an immigrant. I think he's gonna be gay. I'm pretty sure this is a gay romance. Honestly, such props go to Roger, by the way. And if I pronounce your name wrong, I'm really sorry. But Roger's been like shouting from the rooftops about this book. Like his tagline is, Roger says, go read The City Beautiful. This man's been advocating for this book. Like this is the power of influencer, because I was like, I would not have been even that excited about this release. Like I know nothing about it. But he said that this is a masterpiece, and if he said, it has to be true. So props to you if you're watching this, because I'm reading this book purely for you. I hope I love it. I know I'll love In My Dreams I Hold a Knife. I don't know what they have to do for me not to like it, but like, oh, I'm happy. I'm happy because I've not been this excited about reading a book as I've been about In My Dreams I Hold a Knife while reading, because I'm always excited beforehand, but you know, it doesn't live up to the expectations. But this one so far, mind-blowing. This book is so melodramatical and spicy, and I love it so much. I'm talking about In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, and oh my god, I'm 45% in. I know I am wearing different things, but it's like 20 minutes later. And one thing though, it's non-chronological, so we keep jumping in like present, senior day, February, junior year, February, sophomore year, February, whatever. And I don't know the American system, so I was very confused because I thought junior was before sophomore, but then that didn't make sense. So I was like, wait, what? And then I had to Google it. Anyway, it's freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, I think. At least according to Google. Anyway, that. And then another thing I found a little ridiculous is these people are 32 years old and they still call each other their like college nicknames, and while they're married. Like I understand if you didn't see someone in 10 years and you meet up with a friend from college, you'd use their nickname. But if you're married to them, like there's this guy called something Mint or something, and his nickname's Mint, and like his wife is like Minty. Ew, just use the grown man's name. And there's this guy called Brandon Cooper, I think. His name's Coop. 32-year-old man named Coop. It's a joke. I'm sorry, I can't take them seriously. And it's like, this is your fiance, you call him Coop. And Minty. There's Francis that's called Frankie. I guess that's not as bad, but that's like his default though. You know there's such thing as Frank, right? I don't know. It just feels funny to me. Like I would, like, I guess if I didn't see this person in 10 years, I'd be like, yeah, I'm into you. But not if I'm married to the guy. That's weird. That's super weird. I don't know. Is it just weird for me? I feel like that's weird. I don't know what you freaks are into, but for me, that's weird. Thinking a bit more about this whole name thing, I just feel like, you know, if you made the characters, at least the wife or like good friends, be like Eric or like whatever instead of Minty, it just showed the passage of time a little bit, like they've moved on. But at the same time, then I was thinking maybe this is to illustrate that they have not indeed moved on and they just want to live in their glory days of college, and like all of the boys are frat boys, all of the girls are like sisterhood, fraternity, you know. So maybe it's like showing that they're stuck in that mindset of like bros and fraternities, and all of their names are ridiculous, but they're super rich, so it kind of makes sense. It's like when you think about like super rich men that kind of emotionally are stuck, or like, you know, they're like brokers or some shit like that, and then they're like mentally they're still 21 or 18 drinking at frat parties and their name's Minty, you know, or Coop, or something equally ridiculous. There's one name called Jack, and I feel like his name's just too normal, you know. So now I'm thinking maybe it has a purpose, you know. Maybe it's to show what kind of people they are and what mindset they're stuck in, because like you're reliving your glory days back in the day, people who peaked in school, sad times. Also, another thing I cannot relate to at all is like fraternities and sisternities, or whatever they're called. Like, oh my god, it's such a crazy concept to me. Absolutely insane. Are you unhinged? I would say you're unhinged, but okay. Holy fuck. If I had to summarize this book in this book being In My Dreams I Hold a Knife in 2 words, it would be daddy issues. Daddy issues. Oh my god. It was so good. I finished it in a day. I read it in literally like 12 hours. I started what time? I started 7:30. It's now 6:30. I was supposed to go to the gym an hour ago. I could not put it down. I was like, well, I can go to the gym, but that's the only thing I'm going to be thinking about, so I might as well finish it. 5 stars. I don't know. It's just so messy and messy. What I wasn't expecting it to do is serve a romance. Yeah, it's toxic. It ain't good. Red flags, but holy crap was I into it. Like, I'm sorry, a bad boy, but he's a simp. I can't. And the plot twisty, I mean, I didn't even care that much in the end, because it wasn't about who killed Heather. It was about something else, and it was about Jessica and Jessica's story and her daddy issues. I don't know what to tell you. It was amazing. 5 stars. Freaking show-stopping, amazing. I don't know. If you don't like messy, I don't know if you'd like this. If you don't like kind of campy, I don't know if you like this. But I loved it. I feel like the cover is a bit misleading, because like I thought be serious business over here, but it was just drama. I don't even know. Like, do I even go to the gym? Because so much energy now. I just posted a video with addicting books, and the fact that I didn't include this one. Crime Against Humanity, okay? 5 out of 5. Loved it. And now I'm thinking, in my end of year tag, I said what would be like the most shocking book if it became my favorite. And I said, well, if In My Dreams I Hold a Knife becomes a favorite, I'm going to be shocked. Not because I had low expectations, just like thrillers are not absolute favorite books of the year for me. But this is definitely the best thriller I read, I'm pretty sure, this year. This is a very uneducated guess, because I've not actually looked at the list, but from my memory, like, it's such a good thriller. Oh my god. So I kind of made it on the list. I don't know. It might make it onto the top 10. If not, it will definitely make it on the most surprising books of 2021, because that was masterful. I loved it. Oh, it's so hard.
Other way.
Like this. Yeah, but it doesn't work.
You need to dip it in more ink then.
It's like this. Ah, there you go. It's really hard. Hello. So, I I finished The City Beautiful and I barely caught up with you, didn't I? Yes, I did. I don't even know. I think I told you what it's before. Basically, it's about this Jewish boy living in Chicago and Jewish boys start dying and the main character gets possessed by a ghost. I don't know if that's a spoiler, but considering it's like the whole thing that the story is based on, I'm hoping not. And I had a really good time with it. I did quite enjoy the book. I think it was really well written. I loved seeing like Chicago and the time period was very interesting. I really loved that it was from a perspective of Jewish immigrants. I really liked how they spoke Yiddish. Well, you hear English, but like they're speaking Yiddish in the story. And kind of that perspective. And I really enjoyed also like the note at the end from the author, kind of like what liberties she took, kind of what liberties he took, what inspired the author, and I really, really enjoyed that. I think it was really well written. The story was really good. It was like sad but hopeful, and it was definitely, the author said, it was born from like a place of frustration about the way that he's been treated, the xenophobia. And yeah, it was really heartbreaking. It was quite difficult to read. Like, it was just upsetting, just what the people said. But it's really kind of sets the scene. This will sound so stupid. But I guess I didn't realize how much vitriol there was against Jewish people even before the World Wars. I know that it was really, really bad then, but apparently it's like been a very prevalent feature of societies through the years, and it's just really upsetting. I feel like I enjoyed maybe like the discussions of racism and homophobia and the relationship, all of that I enjoyed a lot, and the plot itself was interesting. I did think the climax went on for quite a long while. We're finding the same person for the third time. Why is this not done yet? I did enjoy it. I gave it 3.5 stars or 4 stars on Goodreads, and I would really recommend if you're interested. If anything I said sounds interesting, I would recommend it. It was well written. I would say for all three of the books, something I didn't mention before is content warning, especially for sexual assault. So there's either attempted or mentions or that kind of thing about sexual assault. It's not super gruesome in any of them. Blackwater Sister, probably the most visceral one. But yeah, there's like sexual assault in all of these books. So be careful if that's something that does not sit well with you, or reading about it doesn't sit well with you and it could be triggering. Please be careful. Overall, I would call this vlog a pretty big success. I read like probably my favorite thriller of the year, In My Dreams I Hold a Knife. Bloody hell, finished the book in a day. That was awesome. Then we Blackwater Sister, really good read, and A City Beautiful, and those two really, really were talking about identities and fitting in and homophobia and how to deal with that. So they were all beautiful. Really enjoyed all the stories. In My Dreams I Hold a Knife was definitely my favorite. It's just, I don't know, it was just something so addicting about that book. It was kind of insane. But I had a good time. I would really recommend these. I'm so excited. This probably is the last vlog of the year, so thank you for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, if you'd comment, like, and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. Stick around for 2022. We have some pretty big plans and I'm excited to continue reading. Cheers. Bye.